Vasato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amritam gamaya Sarvesham swastir bhavatu Sarvesham shantir bhavatu Sarvesham purnam bhavatu Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Muralidhara sir, the floor is yours. Muralidhara, unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you, Madhusudanji. Good evening, friends. I welcome you all for this today's program. Today's evening program talk on. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, welcome you all for this today's evening program. Talk on importance of skilling in construction industry post-pandemic. When we requested our respected President Shri N. Gupta ji, he has graciously accepted our invitation. Today he is here. I welcome you all for this program, sir. Ram Nivas Gupta ji, sir. Thank you very much for attending. I welcome immediate past President Shri Mohan ji. I welcome today's program Master Speaker Shri Jaiprakash Shroff. When Mr. K. Sri Ram, our Center Vice President, called him, he graciously accepted our invitation. Today he is participating and giving his lecture. I welcome you, JP Shroff, sir. I welcome our guiding force, past presidents of Builders Association of India for this talk program. I welcome our Region 1 Vice President, Sri Venkateshwara Garu, sir. I welcome our Vice President. I welcome all our Honorary Secretary, Builders Association of India, Pradeep Nagvekarji, and all our Vice Presidents. I welcome always on job our Builders Association of India main pillars, Raju Jan and Madhusudanji for this program. I welcome my mentor, today's host, past Vice President K. Sriram. I welcome Karnataka State Chairman Sri K. Ramesh. I welcome all GCMC members, Center Chairman, and all BI members for this program. I welcome our Center Chairman K. Ajit Narayan and all CREDAI members. I thank Spurti members and President and members of Spurti. Special welcome to renowned environmentalist from Mysore, Sri Ramesh Kikerji, for this program. Thank you. Over to Madhusudanji for further.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll be requesting Mr. our BI President, Shri Ram Nivas Gupta ji, to deliver his opening remarks. Sir, can you unmute yourself, sir?
Yeah.
You again muted yourself, sir. Ram Nivas President, sir, you again muted yourself.
Yes, I unmuted. You are hearing me?
Yeah, now we can hear you, sir.
Namaskar, dear friends. Our past President Shri Ami Mohanji, Shri Mahesh Buddha ji, our Shri K. Sri Ram ji, all vice presidents, all state chairmen, all center chairmen, and all the members of BI members of our BI family. Friends, I am very happy to see here today as a president of Builders Association of India in the seminar of importance of skilling in the construction industry. Friends, skilling of workers is one of the very important factors which contribute positively to the output of our contract. If the worker are skilled, the quality of work will be exceptionally outstanding. And also it will help to reduce the cost. More importantly, it will reduce accidents, and occupational hazard during the course of project. Today, we have J.P. Shroff, who was devoted his life for skilling for construction workers. I was told he was not only received awards from the exceptionally good work in India, but are also recognized by the many prominent training institutes abroad. I am sure today he will take as a different aspects of skilling of workers, which will help the construction industry to grow his appreciation from all. Mr. Jaiprakash Shroff is the managing director of and chairman of the Shroff Group. He is a truly educational, a gold medalist, and extremely passionate about skilling in the construction sector. It is luckily he is a BI member also from Pune Center. A mini dental vegetability, he was contributed immensely in the field of construction. Skilling, experimental, sustainable, he was presented by the Institute of Economic Studies. National Awards for E-Governing 2014-15 for skill development for construction sector and award for outstanding contribution in the government of India. He currently is the chairman of IGBC Pune Center. Kushal, CREDAI Pune on board of construction sector, skill council and painting sector. Chairman of Builder Association of Pune Center. Kushal Rotary Club Pune Riverside. Control 2009 and Abhinav Abhiyanti Shikshat Kendra. So friends, he is our good learner friend of BI family. So I am sure that he will take a different aspects for skilling of worker and which also help our members of the BI construction industry. Thanks, sir. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, President, sir. Now, as per the minute-to-minute program, immediate past Shri Mohan sir was supposed to. Raju sir, Mohan sir is not there, na?
No, he is not there. He is not there.
Then we request Venkateshwar Rao sir. So he is not there, President, Vice President.
Mahesh Buddha is not there.
नहीं महेश मुद्दा सर का इवेंट नहीं है सर आज.
अच्छा नहीं है.
अपने वेंकटेश्वर राव सर, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट सर कौन से नाम से? अच्छा वल्लभन. अच्छा ओके.
He is there.
Got it.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. All India President Gupta ji and
Yes.
Secretary, other colleagues of Vice Presidents of other colleagues, and Karnataka Center Chairman Mr. Ramesh ji, and Ajit Narayana, Mysore Center Chairman, and Skill Development Chairman of Muralidhara, ex South Zone 1 Vice President Shri Ram ji, and other colleagues, other GCMC members, and other colleague contractors, all of you, good evening, sir. So now this pandemic time is this program is conducted. Muralidharan ji is very good. Next, skill development labor is non-availability of in public in local. So every center, every area is in some civil skill development centers developed is very important, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I hand over to the host for today's event, Shri K. Sriram. Sir, Sriram sir, unmute yourself and take charge. So you muted yourself again. Sriram sir, you muted yourself again. Sriram sir, you muted yourself.
No, sir, I am on unmute.
Now,
Okay.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah. So good evening, all the dignitaries present on this platform. And it's a real pleasure to host the show today, along with when we are speaking to a very dear old friend of ours, JP Shroff, and speaking about a topic which is absolutely dear to him. He's absolutely passionate about skilling. I always call him Mr. Skilling in India. So he is one person who has actually taken skill development in India to an international level. Because I don't know if all of you know about it, there is this world skills competition, which happens on construction skills and various other skills. And JP has been leading the Indian contingent there for the last 2 years. And I think last time in the last event which happened before the pandemic, I think we won quite a few medals in the whole thing. And I think a good part of the credit should go to JP, because he led the the contingent to the world skills competition. So JP is just not our local banda. I mean, he's something who's truly international. And one of the high points of his career is, I mean, I was also there in that auditorium, and quite a few of the others also on the same who are here today were there, and they saw it. When the Prime Minister actually came to one of the CREDAI events in New Delhi, JP had quite a lot of time with him, because he was the person who explained the entire skilling gamut which CREDAI is up to, and they spoke for quite some time. And I think as we go on in this program, we'll ask JP what exactly the Prime Minister told him, because I could make out, just out of the lip movement, that they're not speaking in Hindi or English. So I think they're speaking in a different language. And yeah, we'll get to JP on that. But I think our president has given you a small peek into what JP's profile. I'll just tell you what he has, a few things which he has missed out. JP, academically a brilliant guy who's had a gold medal in his civil engineering. He also has he also is a law graduate. There's something very, very rare among being from civil engineering background. And he's always excelled. He's received awards for the great work he's done from various organizations in India and abroad. And he has been the chairman of BI Pune Center almost 25 years ago, long ago. And he was also one of the few invited speakers to IFACA, the International Federation of Asia Pacific, Western Pacific Contractors Association, in their event at Seoul. He was one of the invited speakers there. And he has actually the person who pioneered the whole thing on the aspect when it comes to training of construction workers, and also training of personnel related to the construction industry. Work after that is really legendary, because he has been instrumental in training almost 1 lakh construction workers and its allied services. It's something great, fantastic. All of us have been talking a lot, but here we have truly got a guy who's walked the talk, who has really walked the talk, and he's actually achieved whatever it is. And as things have gone on, he's always evolved. That's something fantastic with him, because we've just got off a national call where JP has come out with a fantastic module on an e-teaching module that's for the construction for our engineers. I'm sure he'll be talking about it further on. So without wasting much time, we will just get down to the presentation, and we'll try to get a lot of gyan out of JP, because there's lots and lots of it. I mean, we are only talking about skilling. He's got lots of gyan on all round 360 degrees. That can be a different forum a little later. So JP will get on with this. So now we have welcome you to this program on behalf of the entire Builders Association family here. You're also very much part of the family, so it's just within the family here. So the thing is, we'll just get on with this, because now we have got the second wave of the pandemic, which is just ending, and it's not going to end here. I mean, it is. We've just seen Abhi aana baki hai. I mean, we are going to have the third wave or fourth wave or whatever. It's going to keep on coming. It's going to be there for some time, because if we are smart, the pandemic is smarter. The virus is smarter. It has outsmarted us always. And if you're just looking at it, again, there's been there's a rise of cases in Britain. They're just about to reopen. There's again like a rise in cases in South Africa. They're now on to the third wave already. So if you look at this, it's not very far off. So given this, the entire dynamics of our industry, construction industry, is going to change. And I think one of the most important components of our industry is our workforce. And given this, what is happening, a good part of our industry works on labor which come from our migrant. So we don't know whether in the future we will be able to get migrant labor. We need to have in-situ training of people. The whole thing is going to change, but we need to be ready for it. And I'm sure you've you've out-thought us all about all these things, and you have a wonderful presentation to share. So without wasting much time, over to you, JP.
Thank you, Sriram. And let me tell you, it feels like Ghar Wapasi. Way back in early 90s, when I was BI president, I remember Lalit Sanktani was the president of India, BI, and that's when we had the convention at Pune, National Convention at Pune. And that time, Pune was the host center, and I was the secretary of the Pune chapter. So it feels very, very nice. And I'm telling you, I really believe that whatever I am today, I must give a lot of that credit to my nurturing in BI. We have Madhu, we have you, we have so many people, Mr. Gupta ji, Devkar ji, whom I have known for so long, and wherever I have come thus so far, you have been very much instrumental in making me as JP Shroff as a person. So Ghar Wapasi is what I feel like today, coming to BI and speaking to you all. Let me go back the early days when.
तो आप घर से बाहर किधर गए थे? घर में
I agree. Ghar Wapasi ऐसा होता है कि बाहर थोड़ा जाके घूम के वापस आया ना मैं. So ऐसा लग रहा है कि वापस आ गया हूँ और अच्छा लग रहा है बिल्कुल. So I'll tell you what really transpired and how this life is very, very strange. Early.
ghar wapasi बोलेंगे.
हाँ.
इसको ये हमारे BI के फैमिली मेंबर हुआ.
बिल्कुल.
और बिजी हो हमारे BI के वर्क को छोड़ करके.
नहीं, कोई छोड़ा नहीं हूँ. अब वापस आ रहा हूँ ना. So let me share the story of how I got into skilling and how interesting it is. Early 90s, when Golani Saab was the president of BI and Bani Saab was there, and Bani Saab was asked to go to Korea. Bani Saab, with his greatness, said JP is more qualified to represent BI with his knowledge of skilling. So I was given a month of time to prepare a presentation on behalf of the Builders of India. And lo and behold, Mr. Madhu gave me a ticket to go to Korea, and there I was in Seoul, which was early 90s. And there I was representing the largest community of the contractors in the country, speaking of skilling. Trust me, why did the Koreans want to know what was happening in Korea, in skilling in India? Because if many of us don't know that the Hyundai is a bigger, larger construction company than actually making cars. And many of these Korean companies were very seriously wanting to enter construction in India. But honestly, the level of skills were so poor that they refrained from coming, and probably we lost an opportunity which we could have been at those times. So my speech was so welcome that immediately I was requested by the Singapore Contractors Association. They flew me to Singapore. I was asked to make a presentation. From there, I was asked to make a presentation at Bangkok. So that started my little connection with skill development. And gentlemen, as things went forward, let me go back to some kind of history in the Vedas. Let me tell you, if we are the only country in this world that speaks of classes, not as classes, but it speaks of skills as differentiating each one of us. So we have a Brahmin, we have a Vaishnava, we have a Kshatriya, and we have a Shudra. We are the only religion or a caste or a country that divides people not because they are colored, not because they speak different language, but because they are exceptionally good in different skills. A Brahmin was an educator. He was a person who looked up the temples. A Vaishnava was a businessman like you and me, who collected money, who made money, who gave you products and sold products and made money. A Kshatriya was one person that took care of everybody when it came to war. He was a fighter. He looked after the people. And then there was the Shudra. Shudra was one person that looked after the menial works of everybody of us. So we were the only country in this world where we have signatures, we have what you call surnames like Batliwalas. You must have heard Batliwalas and Lokhandwalas and all that. They were actually trade surnames. Do you have anywhere in the world somebody called a Lokhandwala or a Batliwala? Because these were honored. We were so proud about ourselves. We were proud about the professions we did. And gentlemen, let me tell you that when the Britishers realized that we were so skilled, it is said that we would produce silk that would pass through a small matchbox. And realizing that we were so good, the Britishers systematically saw that all these skills were made redundant. We were not given enough business opportunities. There were so many taxes levied on all the products that were exceptionally good, and eventually these skills disappeared. No, that story also I'll get back to, but let me also share a very interesting episode. We know the Taj Mahal, one of the great wonders of the world, built by the best artisans of the world. And the story goes that when Shah Jahan was surveying the work going on, and he was physically visiting the site, he had all his team of the architects and the contractors and his entire team. And when he's walking away, and he was watching, and he asked one worker, what आप क्या कर रहे हो? तो बोला साहब मैं रोजी रोटी कमा। तो बिल्कुल सही करा कि रोजी रोटी कमाना। आगे चल के पूछा एक को, तो आप क्या कर रहे हो? तो बोले मैं ये मेरे को मार्बल दिया, संगमरमर दिया हुआ है, मैं इसको चिजल कर रहा हूँ। बिल्कुल सही बोला है। आगे जाके चला, एक बड़ा व्यक्ति बड़ा मग्न था। He was very seriously involved in his work. And then Shahjahan ji, the Mughal ruler, asked him, "What are you doing?" He says, "I am told that I am going to build the most beautiful structure in the world, which will last for thousands of years in memory of one Mumtaz Mahal." So look at three different people doing the same work, but how they looked at the work they were doing. One was calling it work to do for earning his bread and butter. One once just said that he was doing chiseling of marble, and the third said he was creating something that was going to be remembered for long years of time. So these are what makes the difference in the way you look at your work, your attitude. And that's where we lost it. This is what systematically the rulers, and it is said, I do not know, I cannot authenticate it, but Shah Jahan saw that all the good workers, their hands or their fingers were mutilated, and they could never again create a building as beautiful as that. So sad but true that India we have such beautiful Jain temples at Ranakpur, at Jaisalmer, wherever. And who did them? Indians. And do you see such great craftsmanship in such abundance? Yes, there are great craftsmanship, but go all over pan India, you will see such beautiful structures, amazing temples in South India, amazing temples in Rajasthan, amazing structures pan the country. Only because India was considered one of the most skilled nations in the world, which over the periods of the Mughal regime and the British regime was systematically destroyed. So this is a small history. Therefore, when we say Tamsoma Jyotirgar, get us from darkness to light, is what actually skill development is doing. So Tamsoma Jyotirmar is a very famous Sanskrit shlok. We just heard that being recited before we started this meeting. So what is skill development? Getting the poor from the shadows of darkness into getting them to become self-dependent, getting them to be recognized for what they are worth, getting them to be honored for what they are able to do. And that is where the whole industry has to take a different look at skill development. Let me share with you a very strange story. It was in 2010 that when Mr. Satish Magar was the CREDAI president, and NSDC had just been formed. And we decided that we'll make a pitch to the government to help us do skill development for construction workers. Now, all of us understood that the construction worker is migratory. So Shri Ram के पास एक बार कुछ दिन काम करेगा, बाद में JP के पास करेगा, कुछ दिन के बाद देवकर साहब के पास करेगा. So there was no ownership of that person. Therefore, Shri Ram would not spend money on really training him, because there would be a bunch of 5 or 10 people that Sriram would have for life, but the rest would come from the contractor. They would get some workers when it was masonry. He would get the masons. When it was bar bending, he would get the bar bending. Because our work is cyclic. It's not like a factory that it's on a roller coaster. Everything follows one this thing. ये आने के बाद दूसरा, दूसरे के बाद तीसरा. No, हमारा brick work होने के बाद plaster होता है, plaster होने के बाद tiling होता है. ये सब sequential है. इसलिए we don't have ownership and continuity of workforce, and therefore the worker would not be with us, and therefore we did not want to invest as the industry was. For example, in industry, we have apprenticeships, we have a way people are nurtured to become good workmen, but that did never happen in the construction industry. अच्छा, साथ ही में क्या हो रहा था साहब? Construction में the person working in as a mason, as a carpenter was not really respected. I will share an incident of my life. I was sent on behalf of PCERF. PCERF is a body that hosts what we call the Constru exhibitions in Pune. And I was sent on delegation to Australia. And there I met a class 4 mason. He's called a master craftsman who was a carpenter. And sir, he drove in a Mercedes E-Class and came to meet me, and we discussed that. And believe me, he was as respected as a doctor like we respect doctors. So there's a big difference in the way skilling is looked at pan the world. You know, there is something called the guild all over the world. A guild is a group of people that follow a particular profession, and they are very respected. The best master craftsman is as respected as a doctor, etc. So this was the basic difference. We in India, if we are shy to tell people that we are masons, we are shy to tell people that we are carpenters. Why and what happened down the line is the question. So let me share some very strange observations. So when we started looking at the aspirations, no mason's son wanted to become a mason, but he would rather be a janitor in a mall. You know, he would say, I'm working in a mall. He would be probably cleaning toilets, but it was more respectable than calling himself a mason. And that was the paradox. That was the sad story of what has happened eventually in the construction sector. There is another thing which is strangely affecting why people don't join construction as skills, is because there is something called the marriage market in the lower class. In the working class, there is something called the marriage market where people do not want to the respect for mason is not there. But if you tell them I'm working in a mall, you are better respected. So these were the hurdles that we realized we had to overcome if at all India has to become a epicenter. And trust me, when the Skill India mission was launched by the Prime Minister of India, he said, and his dream was that very soon India would be the largest exporter of skilled men pan the world. And it is not a very big dream, my friends. It is a dream that is very doable because we have the youngest workforce in the world. We are the country with the largest number of young people in the world. And with that, the aspirational dreams of our Prime Minister are very, very bona fide, very, very doable. And in that context was the formation of National Skill Development Corporation and the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So he had a very clear vision and a clear path of making India the skill capital of the world. You know, we already had seen an influx of people, outflux of people to Dubai. And trust me, we know that 40 or 50% of the workers that worked in Dubai were more Indians. Then there were others, of course, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Indonesia, from various other countries. But Indian workforce was very, very, very famous and very, very respected in Dubai. We were skilled. So that was his dream. And that still remains something that we should try and achieve, is what I thought should happen. So let me go back to the story of how we went to NSDC for funds. So I went to Delhi North Block, and there we had asked for 100 crores as a grant money for helping us to skill construction workers. We were very clear that the developer or the contractor would not fund skilling because the worker, he had no connect, there was no longevity of the workforce working with him, and also because no worker, let us be honest, Buying a certificate, does a worker get more pay? No, for the simple reason that there is something called the demand and supply. You and I very well know that we are always short of workers because we have timelines to keep and we have so much requirement of workers. श्री राम के पास काम छोड़ा तो जेपी के पास रेडी काम है, इतना काम है कि लोगों को कोई जरूरत नहीं आपके सर्टिफिकेट की. Nobody wants a certificate to get work. So therefore there was no reason that a construction worker was looking to be certified, looking to come under an organized framework of skill development. These were hurdles that we were aware of. We did a lot of study. We understood the psychology of the construction worker. We understood that he never believed, हमें क्या फायदा सर, हमें सर्टिफिकेट मिलने से क्या फायदा, हम थोड़ी ना पैसा देने वाले स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए, आपको खर्चा करना है करो, हमको क्या फायदा है. All these were mindsets that we realized we would have to overcome over a period of time. And the early 2010, I went to the North Block making a presentation in front of 11 secretaries of the various principal secretaries of various ministries. So there was a secretary from the urban development, secretary from housing, secretary from defense, whatever. I don't remember all the ministries, but there were 11 of them, and there was one lady, who was the senior most bureaucrat who was going to interview me and find out whether it was worthy to give us funds to do skill development. So I remember distinctly sitting there without a tie and just like this in front of her. She asked me, Mr. Shroff, you belong from the most richest community of the country where you have so much of abundance of money. Why are you coming to us for asking for grant? And why should we give you grant? सर भगवान ने कुछ ताकत दी, पता नहीं उस वक्त. मैंने उस वक्त एकदम बेहिचक ये बात कही कि मैडम, you have already decided not to give me money. Why waste the time of 11 senior bureaucrats of this country? I would rather than say thank you to you for giving me time, and I would go back. She looked at me and she said, Mr. Shroff, you are an arrogant man. You have come here, we have invited you. Please tell us what is your proposal. So that was where I said, भगवान कर खुदी को बुलंद इतना कि खुदा पूछे तेरी रजा क्या है. और यही वक्त मैंने समझा कि डरो मत जेपी, अब तो तू बोल ही दे जो बोलना है. एंड ये हुआ कि मैंने शुरुआत की. सब ये जो बातें आपको बताई, I told them that construction worker does not need a certificate. Construction worker will not pay rupee. The developer or the contractor has no ownership of the worker. आपको स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए पैसा गवर्नमेंट को ही देना पड़ेगा. और लो एंड बिहोल्ड, मैं बताया ना, कर खुदी को बुलंद इतना कि उन्होंने हमें 18 करोड़ रुपया, सर क्रेडाई इसको हमारा जो यूनिट है कुशल को 18 करोड़ रुपया हमें ग्रांट के दरमियान दिया गया. 18 crores was given to us to train 50,000 workers. This was early 2011. We have spent all the money, trained 50,000 workers under that scheme. We returned more than 2.5 crores back to the government. It's the first time in the history of the government that we returned the money. And we were called the most compliant NSDC partner. I distinctly remember when Satish Magar was the president, Satish told me, JP, you know something called CAG, Control Auditor General. भैया एक पैसे का गफला हुआ तो तू और मैं तो फांसी लग जाएगी, अंदर जाएगा. तू इतना पैसा गवर्नमेंट से ले रहा है, संभल के काम करना. But with all the grace of God, with all the learnings and transparency from which I inherited from EIA and CREDAI, there was not a single pilferage. Everything was audited. Everything to the last pay was. There used to be a very, very thorough audit from NSDC, from our internal auditors, and we returned and we concluded that agreement, and we got the award for the best compliant NSDC partner in the early end of 2016 when we had returned the money back. So this speaks the volume of an organizational effort. It was not JP Shroff alone, sir. It was the effort of a team that went and worked very hard. And I distinctly remember we started the first we started the first training at a developer site at Pune, and that was Mr. Shrikant Paranspek. It was a township site, and that is where we realized that getting even 100 people to join us was difficult. So we and the minister for Kerala, Mr. Skill Minister for Kerala, I forget his name. A very smart gentleman was the chief guest, and he had come and he was shocked, and he said, Mr. Shroff, ये तो एक दो बैच आप कर लेंगे, लेकिन आगे I don't think it will be very successful. So, but we did some very innovative ideas. I must share some ideas before I ask Sriram to let him ask me questions. First idea was, there was a very important condition of the grant money. You have to track the worker. So today, if he's working with me, whether where he's working with, and how much is the pay rise he got because of skill development. उसका अगर तुमने skill improve किया है, तो उसका कुछ फायदा हुआ कि नहीं. So these were necessary conditions that the government gave us when they gave us the money. So we came out with a brilliant idea, sir, that we gave a 50 rupee postcard. We gave a postcard on which the labor had to only write. So I am working with Shriram. मेरा पगार 500 रुपया था, अब मेरा पगार 600 रुपया हो गया, and he would post it to us, and we would add 100 rupee talk time to his telephone mobile number. So we gave about 10,000 such postcards, and that 100 rupee was such an incentive that we got about 6,800 postcards back again, which was a record by itself, that we were able to, first time in the history of construction workers, able to track the construction worker where he was working and how much increment of wages he got because of skill development. So, gentlemen, we were sure the only way of training construction worker was going to be on the job, when he was working. He was not going to come to your classroom, lose his daily wages, because उसका हाथ पे पेट होता था. वो एक दिन का पगार खो के वो आपके पास सीखने नहीं आने वाला था. So we had completely promoted the idea of on-the-job training. Initially, this was a very difficult idea to convince even the Construction Sector Skills Council, which was then headed by Mr. Ram Durai. Ram Durai Saab was the chairman of NSDC, and that time we had invited him to come to Pune. A Construction Sector Skills Council was being formed, and we showed him what we were doing on the job. And after seeing that, he immediately invited me to be on the board of the Construction Sector Skills Council, which is now headed by Mr. Ajit Gulabchand. And we have Mr. Basu Saab there as a representative of BI. So our efforts started showing results, and we got 21 awards nationally and internationally. Let me share with you an episode early 2015. 2015, we were told that India would participate for construction skills in World Skills at Sao Paulo. So World Skills is something like a skill Olympics. It's really big. It's huge. And 55 countries send their contingents to participate after every 2 years. So there are various skills. There are construction skills. There is flower decoration. There is robotics. There is aircraft maintenance. There is web designing, there is hairdressing. So there are so many skills. And in the construction sector, there were 5 skills that were there. One was bricklaying, one was tiling, then concrete technology, drywall construction, and painting and plumbing. So we decided that CREDAI would take the challenge and participate on behalf of India on 2 skills. One was bricklaying and tiling. Sir, the beauty is, this boy cannot be more than 21 years of age. And unfortunately, in the construction industry, none of the worker is ready to start working on the construction site till he's tried everywhere else. He wants to become something else. He doesn't want to become a mason. So getting a boy who's just about 20-21 years age to turn and make him a world champion was the first challenge. But that job was given to us by NSDC, and we were told that you please try. So we decided early 2015, we took a boy from I think he was from Chhattisgarh. This boy was selected on a national basis through CREDAI members, and we trained him for 1 year. We trained him on emotional, mental health, We trained him on physical health and we took him to Sao Paulo. Sir, there were 35 countries that were participating with state-of-art equipment. There were laser levels, there was huge machinery, and my boy, 5 feet 6 inches, weight 65 kg, against an average height of all the workers who that came here was average height 5 foot 8 inches, 9 inches, weight 80-85 kg, so well built. In 3 days, we were supposed to do a module, 3 modules, about 2,500 bricks, and completed as to the last measured to the last and we were given that challenge. We did not know whether we would anywhere be there. My little boy with a plumb bob and a ruler and a sketch pen and a drawer was working there, and we saw the Americans, the Germans, the Koreans, the Chinese with all the state-of-art equipment with huge bags of tools and kits there, whereas we had one level, one tube level and things like that, and they were working. And on the second last day, when the competitions were getting very intense, all of them gathered in front of our competitor. Mr. Shroff, this is impossible. This is impossible. Here was a boy doing wonders, building at the speed almost better than the Germans, Americans. We were not as good as the Koreans or the Chinese. They work like robots, but they were shocked, and literally they couldn't believe a boy 5 feet 6 inches from India with a plumb bob, checking the levels, checking this thing. They had all the gauges, everything. And when the medals were, when the the report was announced, or when the result was announced, we were what they call Medallion of Excellence, which is equivalent to a bronze medal. First time we participated, and India won the bronze medal in bricklaying. And we, of course, had participated in bricklaying and tiling, so we won in bricklaying. Then we repeated that, of course, with that kind of knowledge. We went to Abu Dhabi. We won in tiling and bricklaying. And now after that, we went to Kazan. Again, we won in tiling and bricklaying, a bronze medal. We have not been able to reach a silver medal and a gold medal. We lack the infrastructure. We lack the support from the government. But I can honestly tell you, we as Indians are such fantastic jugaad people that you were shocked to see how we would make stencils, how we would improvise to get shortcuts. They were shocked. And I was shocked. And trust me, gentlemen, those drawings are very difficult for even good engineers like us to find out. You have to decipher that idhar se itna gaya, idhar se itna gaya, itna bacha. Wo nikal ke khud karke karna hai. There used to be nobody allowed to talk to them also. And these boys, I can tell you, each one of them is as or better than any civil engineer that we have taught. So this is the small story. And now today we realize that this has to go on. And then came the pandemic, and then came a new story. So here I will end the first part of my talk and let then Sriram take it over. I thought it came from my heart, so I thought I'd share it with you. So Sriram, over to you from here.
Oh, thank you, JP. My God, wonderful. It was, I think, all of us listened to you with rapt attention. You're a master storyteller, other than other things also. The way you come out with the whole thing, fantastic ability to articulate, fantastic. Kudos to you. And yes, just to now cut the clutter, to move ahead, JP. Everybody now wants to get into skilling. I mean, we just have to do this because we have to understand that we at the BI level have really not done anything on skilling. It is something very new to all of us. All of us have the intent, but we have somewhere it has been lacking. But we've got a very dynamic team in place this year. The president is very passionate that things have to move, and all the committees are working. We have Muralidhara here as the chairman of this committee, who is very passionate, wants to be doing something, just doesn't want to be holding on to this post just for the sake of it. And given this, how do we go ahead? Because I have seen your Kushal modules when you yourself have taken me to your Kushal sites in Pune, and I've seen it, what you have done. Great work you have done there. If you can just tell us exactly what it is, Anna, because how you got the trainers, how you are deploying them, and what you can do. Because what we have to understand is we need to cut the clutter here and tell people what we can do, because we need to get into action very fast. And we have the pandemic, which is also staring at us. There is the other module for engineers, etc. We'll talk about it later, but we first talk about the construction workers, what we can do about. So if you can tell us what exactly how that module works very briefly, because I think we are already 50 minutes into the show. So if you can very briefly tell us how that entire system works, where you actually train the trainers, these trainers come onto site and do whatever. Over to you, JP.
Right. So, gentlemen, there is a robust system put in by National Skill Development Corporation as to level 1, level 2, level 3. They have the syllabuses ready. In fact, the syllabuses were more made by us than anybody else. So very clearly, you need to have trainers certified by National Skill Development Corporation. You need to be affiliated to the National Skill Development Corporation as a training partner. I think BI is already there. It's only that we need to push this forward. So getting the trainers to be qualified as master trainers is very easy. There is a system that NSDC offers is you can ask their trainers to come and train trainers to become master trainers or trainers, and they could then be certified eventually, which then can start the training part. Now, once you have put into place the job of getting trainers, or if at all, if BI needs trainers, we might ask CREDAI, depending on what kind of understanding we evolve, we can offer you initial trainers from CREDAI, and skilling is universal. It doesn't mean that just because it's CREDAI, it should not be done in BI. And Sriram is everywhere. He's a omnipresent gentleman in CREDAI, in BI. So it's very easily we can talk to the management and have our trainers help you out. We can train them. We can trigger off. It's the desire and the intent is necessary. You must understand that the center, BI headquarters, should assign a certain amount of money and say that forget it. Satish Magar said, JP, ye 10 lakh rupiya gaya, koi gam nahi. That time was 10 lakh was a lot of money. Koi gam nahi, tum karo. He chose me and he put faith on me. And 10 lakh का आज हमने इतना करोड़ रुपया इकट्ठा करके इतना सा काम किया है. तो ये मिशन के द्वारा अगर लेते हैं और हमारी बीआई की लीडरशिप अगर ये बोलती है कि डरो मत, करो, इसको सपोर्ट दो. इसको सपोर्ट देने के बाद बिल्कुल कोई बड़ी बात नहीं. फंड्स आर इन प्लेंटी. श्रीराम हमेशा बोलते हैं कि पैसे की चिंता मत करो, बट कंटेंट, वैल्यू एंड सिंसियरिटी अगर जगह पे हो तो पैसे की कोई कमी नहीं. और ये बात तो हमने भी देखी है. I am telling you a small episode in my life. I was called by one developer who is considered to be, बोलते हैं उसके पास से पैसा निकालना मतलब बैल में से दूध निकालने वाली बात थी. मतलब क्या है कि वो पैसा कभी देता ही नहीं. और वो आदमी का मेरे को फोन आया, उसके साइट पे ट्रेनिंग चल रही थी, बोले जेपी आ जाना. मैं गया, बोले बैठो, बोले 3 दिन से मैं तेरा ट्रेनिंग देख रहा हूँ और मेरे साइट में वेस्टेज कम हो रहा है, कुछ नहीं, इतना अच्छा लगा. बोले बोलते
JP, more of English please, because a good part of the audience is from South India.
Okay, so he asked me, Mr. Shroff, why do you, I'm so happy with the training that you're going on. I want to give you some money. I was scared. I was hesitant. I said, sir, I'll be very happy. Give me whatever you want to give. And early those times, he wrote me a check of 10 lakh rupees. And Sriram, this is not one. I collected as money 2.75 crores from builders who saw value for the work being done. They saw value because they saw wastage control. They saw quality work. They saw that work was not being repeated. So once the developer sees that this is going to happen, once the builder, contractor sees that there is going to be definite attitudinal change in the way the workers work, you will see. It is just that we are not ready. We don't want to try. Now, virtually every center of CREDAI is doing skill development, which will very much happen in BI. It is just leaders like you, Sriram, leaders like Murli, have to push it for next 6 months, and trust me, there is nothing to worry about. Any help. I am BI. Trust me, I am still BI. I am also CREDAI, but I am BI. So don't worry. Call me. I'll be there. I'm on the board of the Skill Development Council. I have extremely good rapport with the National Skill Development Corporation. Any fund, any support that BI needs, a phone call away, call me. We will start it off. But let's begin with Mysore. Let's begin with Mysore is what I say. Begin with Mysore. Pune chapter is also very, very active. Then other chapters are there. So these small steps once you take, and there are success stories. Mysore में successful हो गया, Pune में successful हो गया, Rajasthan में successful हो गया. it will start a snowballing effect. That's the first step we must take, not get scared.
Yeah, JP, which are the trades which you regularly take on?
We take on
Generally.
six trades. One is brickwork, tiling, then we have RCC, bar bending, painting, and electrical. But electrical we are not doing because now it is a different sector skills council. So we are focused on the 5 skills absolutely now.
Yeah, our beloved president would like to say something. Boliye sir, Gupta ji, bataiye.
Main problem with that, I am going to training my labor or any staff or any supervisor. After training, he will leave from my company. He will join Mr. K. Shri Ram. He will join Mr. J.P. Shroff.
यही सोचना हमें बंद करना है. वो हमारी बिरादरी का है. He is from our community. Whether he is with Srinam or he is with Mr. Sanjeev Reddy, Madhusudan ji, yeah, he is Mr. Devkar. It is a job of PI. Don't worry. यहीं पे हम. This is where we have made the first mistake. He is something that will change the construction worker.
Yeah. Yeah, JP, I would like to speak here from experience. If you remember, when I came to Pune, I had the same question to you, saying that the same problem is there. But then later, I actually interacted with all the other developers who had got the labor trained, and they said this happened initially, but later on, 85% of the laborers who got trained with them are working with them even today. When I was there in 2019, I asked quite a few of your people who had got the training done. So all of them told me that almost 85% or 90% of the people whom they got trained and certified have stayed back with them now. Because now things have settled.
Gupta ji, I will share an example. When we started skilling, we also started printing up one pager called Kushal Safal, which was success stories of construction workers in Hindi. And we used to print 20,000 and these used to go to the villages of the workers, which had the photo of the worker. And we have on record reverse migration on 5 sites. Matlab, the mason, when his son saw that pamphlet, he would come and join and work with in the company. So we have been instrumental in also improving aspiration of the workers and making them wanting to join the industry. And people, as Sriram says, 75 to 80% will continue with you if you have continuity of work. If you have a break in the work, of course, sir, they would like to go and look at some other option.
But one question more. I have given most of the workers training from your organization with Mr. Rajpal Arora. About there. Nobody is in my company. Every person has been leave from my company. I have been training for 4 workers or so many workers. All staff are with trained skilled worker. But till today, no staff is available to me, which I have given the training.
Sir,
जिनको मैंने ट्रेनिंग अच्छा किया, अपनी साइटों पर लगाया, वो सब छोड़ के चले जाते हैं. मेरे पास तो वहां जाकर
You please come to Pune and meet 100 developers, and they will tell you the true story. Why should I tell you? They will tell you. That they will tell you, sir. वो जब आप ये
whatever you are saying was my thought as well. Yeah. But after having visited the Pune and actually seeing it there, because there's a very big difference, my dear friends. You have to understand that what they do in Pune is very different. I mean, there is a master trainer who actually comes onto the site itself. You have, for example, about 15 or 20 carpenters working in your site. The trainer actually starts working with those 20 carpenters.
Correct.
He actually becomes like their own supervisor. He becomes like their mentor on the site. And he starts teaching them and all that. He actually, what you are going to be paying for the trainer is actually what, like, just consider you're paying it to a supervisor. He starts extracting much better work from the same carpenters who are working on your site full time. All that is there is maybe for about a few hours every week, there's a designated area where there's a classroom. And again, they've got such wonderful things where they've got a small projector, which is as small as a mobile phone. I think, JP, you guys had imported it from Taiwan, about 80 or 100 of them, where, sir, you can actually project the entire class on the wall, which is there in the construction site. and they had actually made made it in various languages also. So the whole thing is very easy, seamless, which happens. Actually speaking, there is not much cost involved on you, because you will get it back immediately, because the trainer who's coming there is imparting skills, but is also actually acting like your supervisor. So this is something which is very good in this whole program. JP, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because this is something which is very easy.
Yes, he's absolutely right. I didn't want to get into nitty-gritties, but Sriram has done the job for me. Thank you, Sriram. See, it's nothing to worry. Just get that thing done. There are so many courses of the government funding available under RPL, under PMKVY. All that can be available. Certain funds from CREDAI, certain funds from developer, certain funds from BI, certain funds from developer. If we synchronize all this, people will start enjoying the training. People will give you fantastic result. Just imagine, if you tell them the philosophy is do it right the first time. जो करो पहली बार सही करो. Do it right the first time. And
मेरा मतलब इतना है, मतलब एक मिनट एक्सक्यूज मी, एक वन मोर क्वेश्चन. जो आप सर्टिफिकेट इशू करेंगे, दे शुड बी मिनिमम पीरियड के जिस एजेंसी को ही ज्वाइन करेंगे आप, एजेंसी को छोड़ेंगे नहीं. देयर शुड बी स्पेसिफाइड पीरियड, 3 मंथ, 6 मंथ, 7 मंथ, कुछ तो होना चाहिए ना, जो मेरे पास वर्कर रुके नहीं वर्क.
सर वो
that is not allowed, sir. We have tried this. We have been in discussions with the government. That you cannot do, sir. That they will not allow.
Sir, they will allow this only under the Indian Apprenticeship Act. There is another
Apprenticeship
law.
Act.
Yeah, you can do that if you are paying for their training under the Indian Apprenticeship Act, where you can get funds from government also. But that's a different kind of way to work on this skilling. It's a slightly different concept, but that also is possible. We tried that in Pune under what we call the Kushalta Abhiyan. And we train 100 people, out of which 60 people are continuing with the developer, Mr. Farande, who is the president of CREDAI Pune. He spent the money and 60 of them are working with him now. So there is going to be some people who are not going to work with you, sir. But the overall picture is very successful, very transparent, and it is doable. It's just that once we start, it's a matter of just starting. Don't worry. Trust me, I said so. Kar khudi ko buland itna ki khuda puche teri raza kya. It will come. And I'm telling you, I'm living that example because God has given me from God knows where.
You please contact me when you come at Delhi.
Anytime you tell me, हुकुम करो. श्रीराम बोलते तो मैं आ जाता हूँ.
जब दिल्ली आए जब.
100%.
We'll do it, sir. Sir, Gupta sir, हम अभी JP को छोड़ने वाले तो नहीं हैं. We will see to it that we are going to hold on to him. And no, we will see to it, sir. Modules will come out. And in your period, at least about 10 cities in India will practice skill development in a big way.
Sir, I'll be very, very glad
to help
you.
You have got a very dedicated team. So definitely we'll see to it. Along with the help of our BI Secretariat with Raju and Madhu being there. You have got good chairman for each and every zone. So I think we'll start working on modules, sir. We'll catch hold of JP now because he has now stuck his neck out for us. We are not going to leave him very easily.
Our office is just adjacent to the office of this NSBC in Ashinabad apartment, Green Park.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I keep coming there, sir. Luckily, I was very close to the first Minister of Skill Development, Mr. Jaiprakash Rudy. He's on WhatsApp with me, and when he saw our work, he was extremely impressed. So. Don't worry, when it comes to NSDC, whatever help BI will need, we will use our good offices to see that all support is given to you from Sector Skills Council, all from NSDC, etc. It's just that we start. बस ये शुरू करो, आप चिंता मत करो, सब रास्ता खुल जाएगा.
चलो ठीक है. Okay.
Sir, Muralidhara and team, all the other chairmen of the various zones. Please, I think we'll all get together, make out a proper module, which is achievable, which is achievable, and at least have about maybe at least 4 or 5 cities to start with, where we start seeing to it that we start.
Sriram sir,
Speak to you about. What did he speak to you about?
Sorry, sir, I couldn't hear you. You were on for 2 seconds. You were mute.
Okay.
The
What
Prime Minister.
transpired?
Okay. The Prime Minister. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I was very lucky that Jakshay Shah, who is a Gujarati from Ahmedabad, who was the president of CREDAI, Pune, CREDAI that time, was walking with the Prime Minister Modi Saab and coming inside, and they were both speaking Gujarati. And I can speak fluent Gujarati as Sriram correctly observed. So we connected very well. And he asked me in Gujarati, he asked me, what is it that you want? I said, sir, I've been doing so much in Gujarati and I need support. He says, you please don't worry. This is one of the subjects that is very dear to me. I'm looking forward that if India ever is going to achieve the dream that I have, the first step would be the improvement of skills of the people. Therefore, if you need any help, any kind of support, please do ask Jakshay to connect with me. And Jakshay being very close to him, he said, I will give you all the support. Then I introduced him to our world champions. So he was so proud and he, of course, patted both of them on the back. So this was a very good conversation. I will never forget that moment in my life. I was so blessed to meet Prime Minister like Mr. Narendra Modi ji. So that was the brief context of about 2.5 minutes with the Prime Minister. It was once in a lifetime thing for me.
Great, great. We're all very proud of you, JP, for that. Do you think anything changed after your meeting with him? I mean, you think the government started recognizing skilling in a better way? And did we get any benefits out of that?
No, honestly, I'll tell you what, being on the board of NSDC and the CSDC and there has been honest commitment with sincerity, I think you don't need to be a friend of anybody to do something sincerely. You just do your work sincerely, then God gives you opportunities and things follow your work. So probably, I don't know, I didn't see any reason that people were special to me. Yes, people were very impressed that I got a chance to meet the Prime Minister. But yeah, I just kept doing what I thought was right and enjoyed what I'm doing. So it just followed, and I never had to use any phone calls or never had to use anybody. I went there with sincerity and passion, and doors opened. That's my experience.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to just share a very interesting anecdote when you talk about CSDC, the Construction Skills Development Council. For quite some time, the CSDC never got formed because all the various stakeholders in the construction industry never came together. So it is a matter of interest for all of you that the whole thing happened. We cracked the code in Mysore. When we hosted the National BI convention in Mysore, for the first time in the history of BI, we had the leaders of all organizations who were there at the BI convention. We had Mr. Dalit Jain, who was then the CREDAI president, who came. We had Mr. Prem Jain, the then IGVC chairman, who came. We had Mr. Sinaya, the National Highway Builders Federation president. He was also there. And we took Mr. Ajit Gulabchand, the president of CFI, online. So immediately after the inauguration of our technical session, just off the stage, all of them, first time, all of them were on one podium. All right. We actually took them to an adjoining room and said, let us get together and see to it that we crack the code about forming CSDCI and all these issues. Let us solve these things. So the first time all of them sat together, when there was a logos to egos issue, all the egos got dissolved, the logos merged, and then at that point of time, the CSDCI actually got formed. So Mysore has a very strong connect to this. So I just wanted to share this anecdote to you because for a long time, almost for 2 years, it was so difficult to get all the stakeholders together. So that is how it was.
So Sriram, I also said in my speech that the beginning of skilling in BI has to begin with Mysore. I didn't say Pune, though I belong to Pune, because I know what you can do, I cannot do. So therefore, it has to begin in Pune and Mysore, and then we will follow with Pune and other centers. There is something very uniquely different about Mysore. Gentlemen, I have been to Mysore. The bonhomie that all the associations share, and particularly Sriram and the whole camaraderie that they have there is unbelievable. And therefore, I think if anything has to start, it has to be in Mysore. So let's resolve today that we will start skill development. We'll probably have a meeting in Delhi. We'll form up, we'll plan, have an action plan done. We will set aside some funds. We'll organize see, there are two parts that are the hurdles. One is the desire to do, and second is the money. Now the desire to do has come in because of this session. Now all that we need is some money to begin with, and then the ongoing funds to keep it going on. So ongoing funds has to be put into place. The plan to put into place has to be there. The way we are going to do it, the committee to be formed. Once we plan that entire thing, trust me, it works like a well-oiled engine. You will be surprised. It looks very difficult now for everybody. अरे ये कैसा करेंगे? ये labor कहाँ से लाएंगे? ये कौन करेगा? But it just happens. You need some people who are committed. Everything follows. There has to be a plan. There has to be a vision. There has to be a plan which we will easily do. And in the leadership of Gupta Saab, with Sridham and the people that they are here today, we will start it in BI. I will offer all the help that you people want, and we will see that it becomes after some years, we should say that BI is doing more skilling than even CREDAI. And that is possible because the maximum workforce actually is with BI, not so much with CREDAI. CREDAI is employing people. CREDAI has no direct relationship with workers. It is the BI where we are, as contractors, know the workforce. We know the contractors. We ourselves are contractors. So it is actually more necessary for us than CREDAI to be involved into skill development, because that is our real bread and butter.
Thank you, JP. Thanks a lot for that wonderful presentation. So it was an eye-opener for quite a few of us, and I think we have made a very good beginning today. And we will not let you go. You have now offered yourself, and we're going to make use of you. When it's going to be a lot of work, we're going to go to take out of you. Beware of it. So we'll take this ahead. And I, on behalf of everybody here, thank you for the wonderful presentation, for the wonderful yarn you gave all of us. Of course, we still have some more part of the program left. We request you to stay back. And I don't know, Madhu, are we taking any questions and answers? Questions?
That's up to you, sir. But we have the immediate past president. Is there with us, and National Secretary is also there with us.
Okay, sir. I will hand it over to you, Madhu. If you have time to take some questions, you can take.
No,
some
sir, it's up to you.
It's
up to you. You are the host.
Okay, then fine. If there are any questions, you can take it on. You can raise your hand.
Question, Mr. Parmeshwaran from Coimbatore and Mr. Anand Gupta from Mumbai have raised their hands.
Yes, sir. You can bring one of them in.
Mr. Parmeshwaran, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. I have unmuted. I am audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, sir. This is Engineer Parameshwaran from South Zone 2 Skill Development Committee Chairman for Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Just I will take 2 minutes of your time. Thanks to our National President R.N. Gupta ji for appointing me as a Skill Development Committee Chairman. And the first thanks to my immediate past National President Shri Mohan, who has appointed me in the same post last year. And this interaction with our JP sir and Sriram sir was really wonderful. Sir, since last year, I was moving with the NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation of India. I visited the place 3 times with one of our local member of parliament named Mr. Sanmu Sundaram. In our constitution, named Pollachi, we have one engineering college, Mahalingam College of Engineering and Technology, where this college is equipped for carpenter, plumber, electrician, welder, and tile layer, nowadays mason also. We have a very good setup, sir. And this college has hostel also. If you are bringing people to train even from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, the hostel can accommodate even up to 300 people. But the thing is finance. I approached the NSDC last year for getting some grant where it was not possible. Even I spoke to our immediate past National President Sri Mohan to conduct a live meeting for skill development where it was not possible due to this COVID. But this year I am planning to do that. When I was talking with our Secretary, Mr. Raju Jan, I was told by Rajujan that our past national president was a member in NSDC. Our I'm not getting his name.
Basuji.
Basu, yeah, our past. I spoke to him also. I told about my views. I submitted my views. First thing, I am requesting to get the funds so that we have full infrastructure in our Pollachi, which is 40 kilometers from Coimbatore, easily accessible, where we can take up this program national level. Second thing, I request our JP as well as Sriram sir, provide some time where we can at least conduct a live seminar in our state level in Tamil Nadu and Kerala before for example, if we are having state meeting tomorrow means the previous day I am ready to conduct the live seminar for on skill development. This is my submission and suggestion. Thanks for the opportunity to speak on to the great personalities like you. God bless everyone, sir.
Sir,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I remember the Minister for Labour, Mr. Shibbu Bebu John. If you remember, he was the Minister for Labour from Kerala. And I was very, very interested in seeing that Kerala because, of course, the maximum workers have gone from Kerala to Dubai. And therefore, he was very keen that we set it up. We did work some proposals. After that, I think he didn't continue to be the Minister for Labour in Kerala. So I lost touch with him, but he was very interested. So we can do that, sir. It's not very difficult. You have a center. See, money doesn't come for any institution per se. Money comes as various programs under NSDC. There is a program called Recognition of Prior Learning. It is called RPL, which is very easy. You have to do, you can do RPL and you can get funds. It is just the difficult part is not the funds. The difficult part is mobilizing the kind of workers to come there to see that they are done and go through that training. Then the funds and the paperwork is not difficult. If you are clear and simple, it's very systematic, the payment will follow naturally. All that you have to do is possibly invest some money initially because NSDC does not give any advance per se. But money, if you are correct and paperwork is correct, I can tell you, you will get the last pie as whatever you have spent and whatever is due to you. So that is one thing good about the government, at least in skill development. The money comes, it is just a process, takes about a month. So you have some locked in capital for a month or month and a half, which will have to be sponsored by the center or by the local BI center, which would be a couple of lakhs of rupees, not big amount, and the money will come. So don't worry about the funds.
Okay, sir. Thanks for your clarity. I will contact personally, sir. Within a day or two, I will talk to you through our Sriram. Thank you for the opportunity given. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anand Gupta ji.
No, he has left. He is not, no more raised his hand. So
okay, fine. So I think...
unmute yourself.
Mr. Kirtinathan also want to speak something. Mr.
Kirtinathan. Sir, this is Kirtinathan, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So thank you for giving this opportunity, sir. And first of all, I put my wish to my national president and the fellow participants, and also Mr. GP, sir, very fluently, very brilliantly is telling his experience. It is very useful. And see, I am the chairman of the Skill Development Committee of our Kanjipuram Center. This is very nearby to Chennai. And we have our own building. And see, as our Mr. Parameshwaran told about the funding and all, we are ready to invest the funding for a month or two to get back it. And we need only what the procedure and all has to be followed. And through us, the certification has to be given to the workers. And we have one plan. See, as you experienced guys are telling about why the workers has to be trained because they are not going to work with us and all. See, if we keep on giving training to a lot of workers, if the majority of the people get trained, you know, so that will solve the problem. And we have one program. After some 2 or 3 years, we have to develop in our center, I'm saying, we have to develop one app so that people, if they want any worker, they can touch the app, and our trained laborers will get into it, and they will get automatically a job. This will be done through our BA center. So our central BA image also will get developed. So we'll be providing certified laborers to our in and around Kanchipuram area, or wherever the center is doing this. This will develop our thing also. So this is my kind of submission, and we need the guidance how to start it, how to get the certification and all. Thanks for this wonderful thing. This is a good start for our construction industry. Thanks to all who has arranged this. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Kirtinathan ji. Sir, Anand Gupta ji.
Yeah. Gupta sir, please.
Sriram sir, or Mohan sir has joined.
Yeah. I'm taking him.
Yes, sir.
I'm taking him.
Yes, sir.
Gupta sir, you unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, sir.
Gupta
Can
sir,
I speak?
Please speak. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Gupta sir, please tell, sir.
Mr. Shroff, I got 2 questions to you. See, first you said that on behalf of BI as well as CREDAI, you represented on a skilling seminar or exhibition at other countries. So maybe know what exactly they are doing to train their construction labor, so that we can also learn from them and copy or make the same system to train our construction labor here. This is one question. Second thing, see, why don't you feel that the earlier speaker said that he was not given a money, maybe whatever reason, fund may be a problem or not. We are having a very big amount contributed by our construction industry as a labor sales. And we are collecting that in the name of labor welfare, to be done a welfare of labor. But if Builders of India, CREDAI, MCHI, or any other association which is a part of the construction industry makes a joint representation, let government allow this money collected from the construction industry for labor welfare be used only for skilling the people, and let every construction site be a training school. And that person who is taking training also is paid for that those months or days whenever he take the training. And don't you feel this will be a better proposal than what all other exercise which you are doing?
So may I speak?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead, Jay.
Okay. Anandji, very, very relevant questions. So let me begin with what is the experiences of other countries. So let's look at Germany. Germany is very clear, and for them, skilling is a part of an CSR expense or an investment that they do on their own. They do not look at it as an expense. They look at it as an inbuilt training program, and they are not worried what it costs them, because they believe in quality and they believe that skilling and is the only way to achieve whatever zero defect that they have in mind. So therefore, that is the attitudinal change we'll have to do. Is that just as our president said, that the worker is not going to work with me. Yes, that is going to happen till a size of, see, if we have 3 crore workers, if eventually 2.5 crore workers are certified, each one will get certified worker, whether he's working with Gupta ji or whether he's working with Shriram. Because there is a smaller number that is more. Therefore, there is not that what you call the optimum neighbor size trained. Therefore, you have people who have worked with you or certified, you have paid for it, and suddenly they are working with Shriram. That will eventually certainly happen. But that should not be the way we think about its skilling development part. So with countries like Australia, again, as I said, there is something called the guild. There is an aspirational approach that we are lacking in India. The respect, the attitude towards construction worker is not really what it should be for a good craftsman. So that is another challenge in the Indian scenario. But things are rapidly changing.
Train his labor.
Can't hear you, sir.
We can't hear you, sir.
What China is doing to train his construction labor?
Sorry, sir.
We can't hear you, sir, clearly.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gupta sir, we can hear you. Please continue.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Sriram, can you? Mr. Sriram, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
No, I was asking in a similar situation what China is doing to train his construction labor.
Sir, China is not a democratic country. There is the rule of the boss. You cannot compare China. If you come to the world scale, the young boy has to work like a robo. I have seen the Chinese boy complete the job in world scale 2 hours before all the competitors. They literally make them. The Chinese literally beat their young boys up and they train them like you have heard of how they participate in Olympics. So let's not compare China because China is the rule of the law and it's not the rule of the law, it's the rule of the person. And in a democratic setup like India, Germany, or Australia, it is the whole ecosystem that has to evolve, and that is evolving now. So it's just a matter of time. It will happen. Your second question
Sir,
was.
Yeah, please go ahead, JP.
Your second question was about the BOCW funds. Sir, it's a very relevant question and I completely agree with you about us joining together and writing to the government. But let me tell you, we have now started using the BOCW funds to train construction workers. We have had an agreement with Maharera. Maharera has been very keen that the construction worker also should be certified on projects that are registered under Maharera. So CREDAI signed a MOU with Maharera that Maharera will get funds for us to train the trainers, and the workers that will be trained will be funded from the BOCW board. So we had an agreement signed in the presence of the Honorable Minister last time, Chief Minister, Mr. Devendra Fadnis, and Maharera was funding us, but because of the lockdown, the whole process has stopped, and now we'll have to take it up. But we have trained more than 200 workers through the funds of BOCWs. Both RAGC in Mumbai, which is Rustomji Institute of Skill Development, and CREDAI Kushal have certified and trained more than 500 people through the funds of BOCW. So that is happening. It is very rightly said by you that we should represent all together that the BOCW says that we have contributed to the worker welfare should be allowed to do for skill development. Should be one of the, unfortunately, in the 21 purposes to use the funds, skill development has not been specifically enumerated. Therefore, and again, second part is they only pay money to a registered BOCW worker. So that is a big hurdle. We must get our workers registered under the BOCW Act, and then only the funds can go to him. So there are 2 or 3 issues that we need to solve, but it is a very good plan and we must together work on it.
Sir, regarding this, I'll just give you an update. Even in the recent meeting we have had with the Minister of Labour, Mr. Gangwar, he has assured us that they'll be sending out directions that almost 20% of the BOCW funds can be used for skilling. So this is something which is going to be going out from the central government also to all the states, because they can only give a directive which cannot actually which the states will have to implement.
It's under the state subject.
Like a model.
The funds are under the state subject. It's not under
but they are actually writing to all the state BOCWs on this. So it is left to us. Because Mr. Satish Magar was telling me already the Maharashtra BOCW is ready to give funds for skilling. This is what I came to understand.
We got them, Sriram. As I just said.
Yeah, you already got it. So that is what is there already. So I think we have to work with our respective BOCWs now and see to it that they give us money for skilling, sir. So I think we are already at 7:30. So I think I'll hand it over to Madhu to take it through for the balance part of the program.
Sriram sir.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Sriram sir.
Sir, Mr. Mohan sir, please unmute, sir. Please unmute, sir. Our immediate past president, Sri Mohan sir.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone. Am I audible?
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I want to say thanks to Mr. J.P. Shroff for giving a wonderful presentation to us, and I congratulate Murli and Sriram for arranging this session. Last year itself, in my period, I want to make this skill development through BAI, and we have discussed a lot with our Nagvekar, my secretary, and Neerav Parmar, Raju Jan, and with our past president, respected Mr. Basuji, about the skill development. So we made 5 chairmen in 5 regions for the skill development first time. So we want to make throughout the country a uniform skill development scheme from headquarters, the uniform model throughout the country by the BAI. But unfortunately, because of this corona, we couldn't take it up. This year also, I requested Mr. Gupta ji to appoint this skill development committee chairmen in all the regions. He has done it, and today we have started it with a very good presentation. So we have to continue with this. The skilling our construction people is our BA's main aim. Whether we are getting money from that or not, we should make our construction workers. The skill development is a must. Particularly in these 6 chapters, our JP has said is carpenter, barbender, mason, plumber, electrician, and painter. There is a lot of development in construction industry, a lot of technology has got improved. So we have to make all our construction workers skilled in this matter. So I request our president and all our vice presidents to take up this matter seriously, and we will make a very good skill development program through BI. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You really set the ball rolling by having separate skill chairman for each and every zone. We should compliment you on that, sir. The good work what you have started has been taken forward by Mr. Gupta and his entire team. So thank you, sir. Over to Pradeep Nagvekar ji, our dynamic secretary, honorary secretary. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I'm audible, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. At the outset, I'm very much thankful to Mr. Muralidhara, sir, and Sriram, and all the organizers of this event. I'm very much thankful to Mr. JP. We are fondly calling him as a JP only. What is my doubt in what the doubt and fear that was expressed by my president about the flying of trained laborers from trained workers from our side? It is a common everywhere. Is it because, JP, please, I'm asking this question to you. Is it because we may be paying, we being a contractor, government contractor, we may be paying less as compared to builders? That may be the cause for getting off of our labor from our side. One, and Mr. JP, when we as a contractor, our organization is mainly of contractors, and when we as a contractor doing the jobs for government, we are giving our services to the government jobs, then why not state government is taking initiative in getting all these activities, skilling of workers? Actually, everywhere when something goes wrong, they are holding contractors responsible, and it is very easy to pinpoint quality is not good. The person who is nothing knowing about the quality also says, काम बेकार हो गया है, बराबर नहीं करते contractor लोग. This is what the reaction from the general public as well as from the even bureaucrats is there. Under such circumstances, can you not suggest all state governments to take initiative to establish these skilling centers in their states?
So,
Yes,
shall I answer the first question about the contractors paying more wages if the developers? I don't think that's the case. Let me explain how the builders work. The builders are more focused on selling and getting sanctions for their projects. The job of construction is given to a contractor like you and me. Therefore, and they are also very competitively given. So don't even think that they are paying little more than you are paying. Yes, they might have the continuity of work because this tendering system or giving job system in the common in the private sector is more different than the government sector. So there is more continuity of work. There is a relationship in a private sector where if I'm working with Mr. Shriram and if I'm doing a reasonably good job, Shriram will just tell me, Mr. Shroff, start building number 6. You are already doing 5, and that is all a very relationship based working. So but getting more pay from developer is not really, it's a myth. It might be a marginal difference, but that is not true. Number one. Second part is, why don't we together work and ask the government that they should support and encourage skilling for contractors who are working for government of Maharashtra. So we had written to government of Maharashtra particularly that if the tender is awarded, they should put in a condition in a tender which was rejected by our own people, that they should put in a condition in the tender that by the tenure completion of the tenure of the tender, 60% of the workforce should be trained before the final bill is received. There are 2 points to it. Number one, the loading for skill development will be done by the contractor, number one. And number two, by virtue of being a part of the government mechanism where skilling would become mandatory for a contractor who is working with the government, this would expedite the skilling activity in a much more geometric progression instead of arithmetic progression. But government was not very proactive on this. Simple idea, sir. आपके side पे 1,000 people are working. Before your final bill is done, 60% you should have trained them in the 3 or 4 years of your tenure of work. But that was not so readily accepted. Probably they would have their reasons. But imagine if tomorrow all government projects, whether they are national highway or government building projects, everybody is made to be certified and trained, you would have a completely different scenario in the longer run, because the government actually is the biggest employer of workers. We as contractors for working for government do much bigger jobs than actually for developers. And developers are stressed for funds, for sale of listing. So if it had to happen, actually it should have happened through the BI and the contracting fraternity. But it is the CREDAI and the developers that took the opportunity and started it. So nothing lost. We can still continue. We can still work with the government. And as Shriram said, once the BOCW funds start flowing in, it would be very simple. It's for the workers, by the workers of the people. So you and me are contributing it. It is for them. It is once we get them trained, the entire benefits will come back to us because we'll have skilled worker, we'll have good quality, and we'll have less wastage.
Thank you, JP. Pradeep ji, I hope your question was answered. So
Yeah.
thank you, thanks a lot for your presence of this event today. And I think we run out of time. So we will now move on to the last item in the agenda, that's the vote of thanks. Before that, I wish to thank all of you. You've been a wonderful, wonderful audience, all of you. Thanks, JP, for having been with us. And one big hurrah to Muralidhara, the chairman of the Skill Development Committee, CREDAI South, one, because he is the guy who really inspired all of us to get onto the session and followed up with all of us to get onto this. So this is just the beginning. We have got lots and lots to bring to you over the next quarter at least, so that we have an action plan in place as soon as possible. And over to I think Mr. Subramania is going to come up with the vote of thanks. Subramania is the past chairman of BI Mysore, and he's also was the state secretary of BI Karnataka last year. A very dynamic leader. Looking forward to more action from Subramania at the national level. Over to you, Subramania, for the vote of thanks.
Great place since we had
Sir, I think you take the mic near your.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Yeah.
Can you hear now?
It's not clear. I think there's a problem with your network.
Now can you hear me?
No, we cannot hear you. If you have a cord, use the cord mic of the cord.
No. I think there's a problem with your network, Subbu.
Okay.
So you probably close the video, so you might be more audible.
Yeah. You close your video. I think we'll be more audible. Yeah.
Okay. Gives me great privilege to propose the topic. First of all, I thank our national president, Shri N.S, for your patience, all support. I entirely one or tackle by
Subbu, we can't hear you at all.
I think, sir, it's okay. Let him go. Continue.
I think, yeah, we can't hear you at all.
You take over.
Okay. Fine. On behalf of, I think I've said thank you many times already during the last few minutes. So once again, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, President Sir, for being with us and giving all of us this opportunity. Thank you, JP. Thank you, Madhu and Raju for facilitating all this. And thanks to all the participants on this show. Looking forward to having you all very soon. The pandemic is still not over. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and good night. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. I am unmuting everybody so that they can share pleasantries.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much.
JP sir.
Thank you, Madhu. Thank you, John.
Thank you, JP sir.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Shri.
Good night.
Thank you, Shri Ram.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madhu.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಏನ್ ಜೋಗ್ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ಓವರ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಓವರ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಅರೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲಿ.
ಫುಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಬರ್ತೀರಾ? ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ ಹೇಳಿ?
ಇವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿಯೋ ಕೊರೋನಾ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡಾಡೋಕೆ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Wonderful seminar, sir.
Yeah, it was nice. Anyway,
nice.
I think none of the hosts are there. I think I'll stop it. I'll end it.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Subramani sir.
Bye.
Bye, Madhu. Bye.
Tomorrow we'll talk.